I am here at the launch of the new Cadillac CT6 here in Abu Dhabi on Maria Island. In fact, this is the new flagship for Cadillac, at least for now anyway. CT represents the saloons in the new nomenclature at Cadillac. 6 is the hierarchy, so this is the top dog at the moment. Lovely looking saloon, very elegant, takes it back to its traditional styling, very long flowing elegant lines in this car. Let me show you around it. So this car sits above the CTS in the Cadillac lineup. Cadillac aren't really keen to put it up against Mercedes S-Class or BMW 7 Series because those cars generally come in a long wheelbase format and this one doesn't. It is, however, longer than the CTS. It is 25 centimeters longer and 4 centimeters wider. Check out that long flowing bonnet. It's got the new Cadillac face, of course, on it, so it's a very imposing car in the metal. And the width, of course, certainly helps. It gives it that presence that the XTS, for example, sort of lacked with its more narrow body. It's a completely new chassis. It's made up of a mixture of materials. It's 38% steel and 62% aluminium. It's a lightweight in the segment. It only weighs 1797 kilograms, but it's the stiffest car because it's stiffer than the CTS. In fact, you get 2 engine choices with this car, 3.6 V6, which we know, with 335 brake horsepower, and the range topper, which is this one, as you can see from the 3-liter TT badge. Yes, the 3-liter is the range topper as opposed to the 3.6 because this is a twin turbocharged V6 and puts out 404 brake horsepower. An 8-speed transmission, drives an all-wheel drive platform. All-wheel drive is standard on these cars, and the top models also get active chassis, which includes rear wheel steer. That's right, this super saloon, luxury saloon, has rear wheel steering. There are 3 driving modes. You get the sports mode, touring mode, and a slippery mode. Now the difference, is there a difference? Yes, in sports mode, the drive, for example, it's 80% biased to the rear. In normal mode, it's 60% to the rear, and slippery conditions, it's a 50-50 split. In sports mode, the transmission and the steering responses also change, and the Magna Ride suspension gets firm, and the rear wheel steering reacts differently. For example, it always turns in the opposite direction up to some speed. I'll put in the text later on. So have a look at the boot space on this car, because this is a full-size luxury saloon, and these do need a bit of space. And in fact, that is a very, very deep boot space in there, pretty wide too. Only a little bit of room underneath around but it's mostly the space saver wheel in there. So I'm in the back of the car now, and glad to be out. The heat is pretty hot day today. Very nice, very nicely appointed in here, very luxurious. Lots of room this way. Headroom just about enough for me. I think this rear sunroof kind of robs a little bit of space here, as you can just see from this bubble that comes down on the roof lining, but they've scooped it up at the back here, so it's just about right actually. Leg room's pretty good as well. Good room for my feet underneath the front seat. This driver's seat obviously set for me, so as you can see, plenty of room for my knees and my legs. These seats can also be adjusted, forward, back, reclined, all the rest of it. I got shades here. I got these 10-inch screens here, which I believe, I don't know how, but I believe there's a way of actually them flipping down into this bit here. I haven't spent enough time in the back here to understand how that works. Perhaps through this this screen here, I'm not sure. Anyway, there's a little remote there for that. In here, there is a large box, cup holders. Your controls for your seats are down here, including massage seats. So I've got massage, and I can adjust. I can look on here, and I can adjust the massage as well on there. Over here, there are 2 vents, one here, one here. One of the 34 speakers that we've heard of has one here. 34 speakers in this car, Bose sound system. Climate controls. It's a 4-zone climate control, so you get individual climate control for back here as well. There is a reach through into the boot here for skis and longer items if you want to do that sort of thing. And you see this screen here is actually down, so there is a way of putting this down. This of course will lift up and give you a little bit more room. Another thing that worth mentioning, you know, which of course is very useful, especially if you have kids, 2 USB charging points here, a 3-point plug power supply, and a 12-volt power supply as well. Earphones for the entertainment system. Cool, let's drive it. Okay, so we're now in the front of the CT6. Look at this. Panerai Bose sound system. This bit pops up here if you can make that out. Let me show you with this one. And apparently, like I said, there's 34 speakers dotted around here. Incredible sound system. I have played it quite loud. As we've seen in Cadillacs already, we get a full digital instrument panel, and you know, you can configure the individual bits and have whatever you want on there, including the center bit. Lower controls here on the steering. I'll just go through this quickly. We'll do a full review later on, but this is the first drive, so I just want to give you a taster of this car and what it's like. It's got all of the safety systems. It's got active cruise control, and you can adjust that from here. It's got collision avoidance and all of the safety things that you would expect it to have. Big old 10-inch screen here, improved Q system, as you see, proximity sensors there, and you know, you can go into there you go, and it's got Apple CarPlay and all that sort of stuff once you plug in your iPhone. You can actually operate this now through a mouse pad, basically, essentially a touchpad or a mouse pad, whatever you want to call it, where you can do that, and there's haptic feedback from there as well, so that's quite good. There's your transmission, USBs, 2 USBs again in there, so yeah, plenty of power supplies, plenty of USBs. We like that. That's very good. Glove box down there, AC control, 4-zone climate control, as I said. And one of the biggest features on this car is the first one. It's got the 10-inch screen, as you know, it's quite big. Nighttime vision makes a return on the Cadillac, so I'm not sure how to operate on this car, but anyway, we're in the middle of the day, so it wouldn't be any good. But you give nighttime vision on the screen. You've got heads-up display as well. On the screen, you get nighttime vision, and that can detect pedestrians and animals just from their body temperature. One more thing to mention is that it's the first use of a full digital. Can you see it? A full digital camera in your rear view mirror. So, and actually, as you can see, it's quite beneficial because that's what you can see normally, and that's what it will show you. So it shows you a much wider range and shows you more details. It removes all the headrests, and if there's people sitting behind you, that all goes and you can see what's behind you. So that's very, very good. I personally have an issue with it. Not too much else to show you in here, so I'm going to turn that off. Because for younger people with perfect eye vision, it's absolutely fine. But for people like us, where you know, we may be getting to the point where we may need reading glasses and stuff like that, the issue is that in a normal mirror, the focal point is the distance, the far back distance that you're looking at. When you do this, the focal point is that screen right there. So for me to focus from there to there, when I was sitting here, it's fine, but when I'm driving, it's a little bit too much for my eyes to do, and I think over time it would give me a headache. Very easy solution, which I think they'll probably implement in the next version of this, is just put a focusing knob or something on here so that I can just focus the depth of field on that thing. Right, so this one we chose, the 3.6 engine we know about, so I chose this one. I've been driving this around Abu Dhabi today, and it's got 360 view here. You can see all very, very good. Now, one thing to say about this is because, you know, it's got the Magna Ride suspension, so the ride is very, very comfortable. We're on a little bit of cobbled paving there, but, you know, absolutely fine. And of course, it all adjusts and everything. Thing to say about the all view and the length of the car, as you've seen, it's a very long car, it's a very big car, not a very wide car, but wide-ish, but it doesn't feel it from behind the steering wheel, and I think that's partly to do with the all-wheel steering. I've even chucked it around a few corners, and actually it feels very nimble, very agile, and actually genuinely good fun to drive, actually. No, we're not saying this is a sports saloon. That's the role of the CTS, let's be honest. But it's sporty for a saloon of this size, and of course, bearing in mind the lightweight, it actually does a pretty good job of doing that sort of stuff. The performance in this twin turbo V6 is fantastic. You know, you put your foot down, off it goes, no issue at all. If I get past this traffic light, just between here and the next traffic light, we put the foot down, and whoa, there you go, instant acceleration. Just a fraction of a second there for the turbos to spin up, and then off we go. But very, very good. No desire for any more performance necessarily. You're not getting the engine noise. A lot of people already have asked on our social media when does it get the V8. Well, this is the top dog at the moment. Cadillac feel that this engine suits which is a Cadillac engine. It's not an engine borrowed from elsewhere in the GM brand. It's a Cadillac engine apparently, and they feel that this engine suits the character of this car better, and that's why they've put this engine in this car. That's not to exclude the possibility of a V8 at some point in the future, but certainly not in the short term. That's also not to exclude the possibility of another Cadillac that comes in and an even hierarchy level to this, maybe a CT8 or something like that. But so what else can I tell you? Steering, very good. The all-wheel steering makes the car feel very agile, very nimble around town. You can certainly very easy to drive, no issues whatsoever. Good visibility all around. It handles decently, the steering is quite good, no issues whatsoever, and the braking is good as well. All of this stuff I'm quite used to. I quite like the Q system. I know some people have issues with it, but I don't have any issue with the Q system, and I think it all works really well, and I think they've just improved it even more. So what about this car then? What do we think about it? Well, I think it's for the money. Price range, I should add, in the UAE dirhams, manufacturer recommended retail price. Okay, so I know some dealers will price it slightly differently, but here's the price from the manufacturer. They start at 235,000 dirhams and they go up to 285,000 dirhams. And for this type of car, even at 285 for this full spec, full fat 3-litre twin turbo V6 with 404 horsepower and 0 to 100 in under 5 seconds, I mean, that's a heck of a lot of car for the money. And I think it's actually very good value for money. It's a lovely new contender in this segment, definitely one to put on your shortlist. If you're looking at something like, you know, a well-equipped Audi A6 or something like that, then this is another car to go and look at. And then certainly in terms of value, it's right up there. So it certainly gives you that opportunity to look elsewhere if you're looking at that sort of car. So overall, a thumbs up. We'd like to give it a full test at some point in the future when we get hold of the cars. But first impressions are very good, very nice car, very comfortable, very refined, beautiful trim and interior inside. Lovely to drive. Yeah, bring it on. Bring it on. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Do please check us out. motoringme.com is our website. You can find us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just search for Motoring Middle East. You can find me on Snapchat. Just search for Shazad_Sheikh and you'll find me. And of course, you'll find us on YouTube. And if you are watching us on YouTube, then please do subscribe and tell all your friends. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next one.